The PlayStation 5 has graced us with some amazing titles that have received awards, recognition, and plenty of fanfare. But there are also quite a few games that have flown under the radar despite being a great experience. Today, we are unearthing the biggest hidden gems on the PS5 that deserve to be played and discussed. If this is your first time on the channel, or if you're a returning viewer that just hasn't yet, hit that sub button to see much more PS5 content on this channel, from countdowns to my personal collection showcase. And now, I present 10 hidden gems on the PS5. Think of this as a throwback to the PS3 era. Wanted Dead is a hybrid shooter-slasher from the makers of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. The game follows a week in the life of the Zombie Unit, which is a unit Hong Kong police squad on a mission to uncover a major corporate conspiracy. So what makes this game good? Well, Wanted Dead features refreshing character designs, complete with a wide variety of combat with plenty of gory finishing moves. You'll need to master combat, as gameplay can be very difficult as you battle your way through hordes of mercenaries and private security forces. Mastering the combat is satisfying, and the entire experience is a love letter to the 6th generation of gaming. It feels like a retro-style game with mechanics, but it's a fresh experience complete with tons of action. Wanted Dead should be one of your most wanted.
All of them.
From a hack and slash cut 'em up to a cute puzzler, Kiwi is one of the most fun co-op games for the PS5. You'll play as two small Kiwi birds working in a whimsical post office. With no hands to help them, they must jump, flap, peck, and butt slam their way across an interactive landscape of levers, bells, and buttons to get those messages delivered on time. While yes, this is a cute game, it's also a very addicting one and so much fun with another player. If you are a fan of the Overcooked series, this game is a must play. There's tons of laughs, teamwork, and puzzle solving in Kiwi. If you're looking for one of the best co-op experiences, Kiwi delivers as a hidden gem. Okay, back to gore and violence. The Kalisto Protocol was vastly overshadowed by the Dead Space remake, but let me tell you, despite all the hype for Dead Space, the Kalisto Protocol was way better. If you need a great horror experience that won't take up your time, think 12 to 15 hours, then look no further. The Kalisto Protocol was one of my favorite experiences of the last year, whether it was the intimate, hand-to-hand, brutal combat of bashing enemies until their brains splattered all over the screen, or tiptoeing around the claustrophobic caves. The horror experience was one that I hadn't had in a long time. Once you start upgrading your arsenal of weapons, you begin to become the monster, and you stop fearing the dark. Instead, the dark becomes afraid of you. Don't keep this game in the dark though. Pick it up today and play it. The Kalisto Protocol is well worth it. Look at every publication and see their rating for Disco Elysium, and it will be glowing full of praise. But the weird thing is, no one in the gaming community really talks about it. Despite all the praise, this game simply didn't get a ton of community discussion, and it's a shame. If you like making choices and having different options on how to play, you'll love this gripping detective game as you interrogate and solve murders. But how you go about it all depends on you. You can take bribes, intimidate, sing karaoke, dance, write poetry, or beat the living hell out of suspects. It's all up to you. You'll be able to mix and match from 24 unique skill sets and acquire 14 different tools to help solve the murders. Wanna get drunk and see these psychoactive consequences? You can do that. Become a hero or rot in the gutter. It's all up to you, and this game is an absolute banger. Let's head east for this next PS5 hidden gem. Wulong Fallen Dynasty is a dramatic, action-packed story of a nameless soldier fighting for the survival in a dark fantasy version of China. I'm one of the biggest Onimusha fans around, and man do I miss that series, but Wulong has some similarities that made me seek this game out. You'll fight plenty of demons with swordplay based on Chinese martial arts as you rise from an unknown soldier into a legend whose tale is told over and over. This game was received very well by critics, but that doesn't mean that it got the publicity that it deserved. The action is fast-paced, the combat is satisfying, and you'll be able to use magic and call upon beasts to aid you in battle. It's such a good game overall, and one that needs more attention. Get this PS5 hidden gem and experience it yourself. What? You expect me to have a PS5 hidden gems list and not put Recfest on it? For those of you who have been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that I absolutely love this game. Recfest is everything you could want in a demolition derby racing game. The car crash physics are so satisfying, and it's a game that you can play for 10 minutes to kill time, or you could go on a bender and play for 12 hours straight. Each race is a shot of adrenaline, and there's nothing like crossing the figure 8 course and praying to God that you don't get smited. But even if you do, man does it look sweet. Recfest can simply be described as fun. You'll have fun winning, you'll have fun losing. There's tons of different types of races to take part in, and you can choose from the basic derby cars to lawnmowers, couches, and even outhouses. Recfest cruises under the radar and is perhaps the most fun PS5 hidden gem. Who's ready for more co-op action? The Ascent is an action shooter RPG set in a super cool cyberpunk world. Whether you play through this solo or with friends, the action will be non-stop. One of my favorite hidden gems on the PS3 was Dead Nation, and the Ascent reminds me a lot of that in the terms of gameplay. If you take Diablo and combine it with Dead Nation, you get one of the best twin-stick shooters in the Ascent. There's tons of lethal gadgets to equip, and you'll be able to aim high or low while you duck for cover in a destructible environment. Let me give you some advice. You will need a bit of tactics though, instead of just running out guns blazing. But the combat in the Ascent will keep you coming back for more. It also has a neat upgrade skill point system that lets you discover new ways to take down your enemies. During your playthrough, you'll meet allies, tons of enemies, and loot tons of gear and treasure as you survive the chaotic shooter. If you want a true retro experience, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider doesn't get much better. It's gorgeous, full of action, and channels everything awesome from the 16-bit era of action games. After building an army of super soldiers as weapons of war, the authoritarians seal their fate by bringing online the ninja warrior simply known as the Moonrider. Conceived as a tool to preserve all that authority, the Moonrider instead rejects its intended purpose and wages a relentless battle for vengeance against its creators and fellow super soldiers. This is the perfect PS5 hidden gem for those retro gamers who enjoy modern consoles. The controls are extremely responsive, and the combat is vastly challenging, making sure that anyone who beats it will have a real sense of accomplishment. Vengeful Guardian is just a rad game all around, and one that you really don't hear much about. If I had to pick out a favorite PS5 game that I've played and beaten so far, it would be Atomic Heart. This title by Mundfish is incredible and gorgeous. It's an experience from start to finish. You'll brutally beat down hordes of naughty robots with melee weapons, firearms, and superhuman-like powers. The game simply looks great, and the metal soundtrack when boss fights occur is the cherry on top. Humor is also injected into this game with vending machines who want to both sexually ravage your body and decapitate it at the same time. Sexy is back in this game with curvy robots who are as deadly as they are filthy. There's also plenty to do in this game aside from fighting the uprising of robots as you explore vaults, loot research facilities, and upgrade your weapons. It's too bad though that the mainstream media didn't cover this game much because this is truly an A+ effort and a great game to experience on the PS5.
So where's the entrance?
Unfortunately, I do not have this information. Everything's got mixed up after the malfunction.
Let's end this PS5 Hidden Gems list with a series that in itself is a hidden gem. Sword and Fairy 7, or Sword and Fairy Together Forever, is an action role-playing game set in Chinese lore. The game starts with 3 clans, where combat for the first time in the series is real-time action, bringing more fun and excitement to the battles. The landscape and environments are beautiful as you explore on your quest, and characters can also learn different skill sets to make battles even more interesting. You'll also be guided by little spirits who will help you explore your surroundings, but make sure you keep them fed properly. And there's even a few card minigames that will pull at you with an addictive nature. Sword and Fairy 7 was reviewed very well, but due to the massive influx of JRPGs, it's tough to break through to the mainstream. If you want an adventure that is faithful to Chinese lore and has beautiful characters to boot, Sword and Fairy 7 is an excellent choice for those that want to experience a JRPG hidden gem on the PS5. Or, I guess it's a CRPG? So those were 10 PS5 hidden gems. Which of them have you played, or which of them do you want to play now? What hidden gems on the PS5 would you recommend to me? Let me know in the comments below, and while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to watch plenty of more PS5 content. Thanks for watching.